welcome to We'll Throw the After Party. Now listen, I might have had an intro planned and then I found out some shocking information like right before we went live. Marissa and Sly, would y'all like to fill everyone in on what you just told me off camera?
Well, Sly was lamenting that they never received any vocal training. And I said, you know who else didn't receive any vocal training? Ramin Karimloo. And that ruined Liz's life.
So please know for the next 2 hours, we'll be engaging in the conversations we're engaging in. But in my brain, that is my only thought. Alexis is off this week. She is out doing things, living her life. So Alexis, we love you. We will see you next week for our very first episode, Unpacking Only Murders in the Building. Very exciting. Sly, I've invited you to join the TikTok Live, and I don't know why it's not working.
I've requested. Here, let me cancel my request, and then you can re-invite.
Did it work? Hold on, everybody. We're getting Sly live on TikTok here. But how's everyone's week been? There's been so much going on that I have not been noticing as your girl hit her head and is slightly concussed, but I'm fine. It's been a really great week to be Liz. I've been actually having a very Sly week. Sometimes you just don't watch TV and you read all of the fan fiction. So perhaps that's how I spent my week in the dark. It was great. Sly is now with us on TikTok. Beautiful. But I'm pretty sure, Liz, you can find me everywhere on the internet trying to decipher how someone can have such great vocal ability and never have formal vocal training. Usually I talk about PR and pop culture. And tonight we are doing something very different and very special, which is very on brand for the content I usually make around Taylor Swift. So you'll learn more about that in a minute. Marissa, who are you? Where can people find you on the internet?
Hi, I'm Marissa. You can find me at Miss Obisa on almost all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all those places. I talk about wigs and theater and basically anything available on Disney Plus, and also other things. But that's the baseline. And I got a haircut!
I was literally about to say, this is the part of the show where everyone compliments Marissa on her haircut because you're killing it. And here's the big question of the show, which we would like you to respond to now in the comments. Is the Aunt May era over? Some people are saying it is. Some people are saying Marissa will never leave her Aunt May era. So let us know what you think. I am team Aunt May forever. I don't care what color your hair is or what length it is. I think you will always be our Marissa Tomei, Marissa Missa Bobissa. So yes, I am team the era never ends. Sly, what about you?
I am team whichever response makes Marissa happy.
I mean, it's also valid. It's just not as controversial as I would have liked from you. But you're not our controversial.
All right, fine. I will be team Aunt May era is over. It's done. It's now. I mean, you have Elizabeth Olsen vibes, so now you're just in your Elizabeth Olsen era.
Thank you. I did see her hair at the. Maybe it wasn't at a premiere. I think it was the Harper's Bazaar cover. I think it's Harper's Bazaar. And I was like, I need that hair. It's like so good. I have for like the past year at least, just copied different eras of Elizabeth Olsen's hair. So thank you. That is what I was going for.
You succeed.
You do succeed. And Sly, who are you on the internet? I think most people have your tagline memorized by now, but for those who are still trying to learn.
Hi, I'm Sly. I'm a deaf queer Jane Austen fan. I'm here. I'm currently rocking a new sweatshirt that I very much appreciate. We are no longer giving free advertising to random supplier companies, and now we're getting free advertising to friends' podcasts. So much better. But yeah, I'm here. It's been a week. Liz and I had a life swap, and Liz was reading all the fanfics, and I was watching all the TV shows. We're really off our game this week, but it'll make for a fun episode.
I get a haircut and everything gets whipped around.
Truly. We lost Alexis. We lost half of Marissa's hair. Sly and I parent trapped. It's honestly, and something else that is very different for us. A new Taylor Swift song has come out. who would like to admit on camera that they haven't heard it? Sly, have you heard it?
I will admit on camera, I didn't know there was a new Taylor Swift song until a couple minutes before we started recording when we planned this.
Marissa, have you heard the new song?
I've heard about 2 lines of one verse in the background of the TikTok today. So, no.
And I have not heard the full song, which is a very shocking twist. Usually I am up at midnight ready for the release, but with the head not feeling so good, I haven't really been listening to music. So, in a very first for Stark Radio's after party, we're gonna listen.
Radio.
True, we're not. In the very first, well, through the after party twist, thank you for the clarification. We're going to do a first listen right now to Taylor Swift's Carolina as a group. So we're going to toss the link right now to the lyric video in the chat. Do you guys, I have it here. I can share it. If you want to listen along with us, we're going to do it right now and react with all of you. So get the lyric video up. We'll do a 3, 2, 1, go in just a minute. Before we listen, do we want to predict how the song's going to make us feel? It's a short one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling like, I'm going to let this ad roll out really quick. I'm feeling like it's going to be very sad. And it's going to be like very The Lakes inspired.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think I'm going to have some big brain thoughts about it later because she's way too smart for me.
I think all of that is true. I think it's going to feel very folklore reminiscent. I've seen some funny tweets being like Harry Styles, Carolina, party emojis, Taylor Swift, Carolina, sobbing. So
I'm ready. I want to see the waterworks on camera. Sly, are you ready to cry?
I don't know if it'll hit me that hard, but I'm excited. I don't know. I'm not. I'm the like new Taylor person, I guess, if you would call me that.
We love.
So I'm the shrug emoji for the group.
great.
We need it. We need like that middle, like temperamental, like could go one way or the other with it. So you're like the what am I trying to say? You're like our gut check. I'm all the way one extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And Marissa, you're also kind of all the way one extreme, but like perhaps one notch, 1.5 notches, perhaps.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Team, let's do it. We're going to hit play. Are y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
Marissa and Sly specifically. Yeah, we're ready. I'm going to mute myself so I can get the banner up. One of you can do a 3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah, I'll do it. 3, 2, 1. Mm-hmm.
I greatly enjoyed that.
This is the comment of the year.
I have lots of thoughts.
You start.
Just the beat was a little funky, and I like that. That's always fun. The cello line was incredible. Like, great use of the cello there. Beautiful. That end bit with the bass coming in I wish you guys could feel it like I felt that. That was delicious. There's something a little funky in the background, like a banjo, that was really fun. But I really want to see the score for this. I would love to read this.
So she recorded this, like all the instruments used are from 1953.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible.
So cool.
I love that.
Marissa?
It was spooky. It was like haunting. I was like, it felt like it was playing, it was going to play in like the trailer for like a ghosty movie or like a witchy movie. But I liked it.
Had Whisper House vibes, if anybody gets that reference.
Yeah, a little bit. It was like, ooh. But like folksy and like you want to nod your head along to it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else y'all would like to add before I start screaming into the mic? I'm being very calm right
Go
now.
for it. Scream your heart out.
Everyone turn down your volume. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Give me a countdown. Give me a countdown. So everyone has like the exact moment that I'm about to lose it.
Oh my god. Okay. Liz is losing it in 3, 2, 1.
Why isn't she writing the score for every goddamn movie coming out? Are you fucking kidding me? Pixar, call her. Are you kidding? Oh my god. I've been saying that the second she comes back to finish what she started with the Hunger Games soundtrack, we're all done for.
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying that since forever. And then when Folklore came out, I said it again. I said, listen, she's back on the saddle with her cowboy hat on, headed into the land of folk music and indie music. And when she goes that far, she's never going to come back. And then, do you know what song she put out? Happiness. Okay? Not the lakes. Everyone's like, oh, the lakes. Like, no.
Yeah.
She put out Happiness. And I said, give this woman a Pixar movie. Give her an animated coming of like age story and let her do the entire thing start to finish. Give it to her. Give it to her. Give it to her. Give her a period piece. Let her do the entire movie soundtrack. Give her the score. Pair her with John Williams. Pair her with Hans Zimmer. Pair her with John Batiste. Bold statement. I would take 4 movie soundtracks before the re-records. If she was like, listen, I'm taking the next year and I'm going to do a Pixar movie and I'm going to do the Evelyn Hugo soundtrack and I'm pausing the re-records, I would say, bet, have the best time. I will wait.
Mm-hmm.
I will not stream 1989 for 2 more years if it means you're going to do Evelyn Hugo.
Yeah. She's either like already attached in some way or like heavily rumored to be attached to that movie.
We're manifesting it.
Yeah.
As Swifties, I think. Yep. That song, she can do anything. Are you kidding?
Almost.
It's like No Body, No Crime. And the Lakes had a child whose cousin is safe and sound.
Yeah. There was something else in it too, in the chorus, but I can't place what song it is. I don't know. I'll have to listen to it again and think about it more.
So I've had 2 breaking revelations in the last 25 minutes of my life. One, where else is tonight taking us? Let's see. I hope y'all enjoyed listening to that for the first time with us. I love doing listen-alongs with you. She's ready. Taylor Swift needs to do the next Disney princess. listen, yes, give her Elton John Lion King moment. We're waiting. That's a throwback to my TikTok when I talked about giving her Tarzan moment, and I did a whole thing about that. Maybe I need to update that series now that Carolina's out. Thank you for that. And now I'm going to attempt to get the show on track. What have we been enjoying this week? Marissa, have you been? No, Sly was one that was watching a lot this week. So Sly,
let me kick it off because I have a lot to briefly mention. I'm just gonna go in order of how old it is. So first off, I watched The West Wing season 7 for the first time, apparently, because the previous time I watched The West Wing, I thought I watched all of it. I watched through season 6, and then I've been rewatching, right? And oh boy, is there a season 7? It exists. Lots of wild shit happens. It was something. And then I finally caught up on all the Station 19s and Grey's episodes. Grey's was fun, it was fine, whatever. Station 19 ended with a cliffhanger, and I have severe, utter loathing for season finale cliffhangers because you never know what's going to happen during hiatus, and that just it steams my nuggets. So that was a little sad for me. But other than that, Station 19, great, fine, whatever. It's Fruity Firefighters. What can you ask for? And then
we have to circle back on how many. Is this the first time the phrasing "steam my nuggets" has ever been said on the show?
Oh, you haven't heard
live?
That? No.
Yeah. I think it's the first time it's made it to air.
Okay.
What is it a reference
to? So there's this podcast that is now kind of, anyway, not important. There's this podcast, it's called Potterless. The plot of it was dude never read Harry Potter as a kid, wanted to marry his at the time girlfriend, and she was like, you have to read Harry Potter, and so he read Harry Potter for her, right? And in doing that, he made a podcast. Anyways, said girlfriend, now wife, was on an episode at one point and was trying to think of the phrase grinds my gears, but for some reason just randomly was like, you know what really steams my nuggets? And then it became a meme, and so now it's
I'm
just
obsessed.
stuck in my brain. I love it. It's one of my favorite phrases. But every time I say it,
in my life.
Yeah, you got to get the full backstory.
I'm appreciative of it.
Where was I?
Station 19.
Station 19.
And then moving beyond that.
Okay. Then I watch. There's this show I've been watching for a couple seasons, right? Just started season 3. It's called Motherland Fort Salem. It's gay, it's witches, it's US military bureaucracy, it's geopolitics. It's very fun. Season 1 was excellent. Season 2 was wild. Season 3 is a really interesting take on the show because of instead of having like enemies or whatever, it's a bunch of different groups kind of working towards the same goal but not together, and so that's going to be really fun, I think. So the first episode came out of season 3 and I watched that, and it was a wild ride. I'm so excited to see where that goes. But
I feel like the way that you described that show sounds like somebody made it up based off of watching our show.
I could see that.
Someone sat down and was like, what is the right combination of factors that would make this show want to watch something? And they were like, this is it. Is that accurate?
I could see it. It's the premise for anybody who hasn't heard of Motherland Fort Salem. Basically, during the Salem witch trials, instead of unaliving all the witches, the government kind of was like, okay, we'll make this group of people into an army to like protect the US or whatever. And so anybody who's like born with like witch ancestry is then conscripted into fighting for this army. Drama ensues. It's very fun. I don't know if fun is the right word. It's very enjoyable. But yeah, I think there's something for all four of us in it, for sure.
Just like Only Murders in the Building, which kicks off on Tuesday. If y'all have not binge watched season 1, you gotta do it before next Saturday, because it's about to get loud up in here when we dig our nails into that. But I'll digress. Sly, what else did you watch this week?
The only other thing before we jump into the thing we've all been watching is I finally sat down with the Lightning Thief cast album because a certain Chris McCarroll has been all over my TikTok feed. So I finally dived into that. But other than that, I don't know about y'all, but I've been crying over Kenobi.
What's that? I haven't heard of that.
Never heard of that man in my life.
Wow.
If you have not seen the finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi, give us 7 minutes and then return, and we will do our rants of the week. Okay, but this is a spoiler warning for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Mute us, keep it on in the background. Come back in 7 minutes, and you see that timer. It is safe.
Do we want to get a banner going?
Yeah, I'll get a banner up.
I think I was the first person that finished it out of us.
Yes.
It's true.
Yes, you were.
And I could not stop thinking about it for days. Honestly. And then Sly watched it, and then I think Liz watched it. And Sly texted me while they were watching it. And I was like,
I did.
Yup.
I need to out you because I texted you in the middle of it because I was like, oh my god, I'm crying. And then I was like, wow, that was great. It's a good day to be a Star Wars fan. And Marissa replies with, the Star Wars was really Star Waring. And that was just the perfect response. So
it was. Yeah. That was my reaction to finishing the show, was like, this is peak Star Wars Star Waring.
That's exactly what we were saying too when we finished it. Like, I think that's the perfect summary of it. I have a complaint, and y'all know what it's gonna be. I missed more than half of the battle because the strobe lights were so bad. The plus side was that it was reflecting into the window. So I had my hat on, right? So you have to imagine a hat is like covering my head like this. I had a pillow in front of my face, like so. So I was blocking all the direct light from the TV. And then I had my hat. So all of my vision could see was this. Like I had like stuff, like no periphery. And I was looking directly at the window, watching it like reversed mirror to try and follow what was happening. And then if something really cool was happening, I would like whip my head around the pillow and like squint against the strobe light to like see it, and then like watch the window again. So I feel like I really missed all of the fun because it was very discombobulating to follow without being able to just watch it.
It was very darkly lit, and then lightsaber.
I watched
too
it
darkly
at, like,
lit. Why is everything in the dark?
In a room with giant windows, so that like it was like very dark, but the light from the windows was like the same brightness as the flashing lightsabers.
Brilliant.
So that's how I got around it. I was like, I know this is gonna be bright and flashy. I'm gonna watch it in the middle of the day in a very brightly lit room, so the TV in comparison is like the same brightness. But
you're so smart. You are so smart. I should have done that.
I try.
My partner had an interesting thought after watching it, which is that this is one of the bigger moments we have in Star Wars where you actually see the power of the light, and it's not just like the light and the good and like that. This was like, oh, you want to fuck with the light? Like, guess what? The light comes back. And we've gotten that sometimes, but never like this.
Yeah, it was like, you're not just on our side because we say we're the good guys. It's actually because we proved you should be on our side. Yeah, I really was like, what is gonna happen that is really gonna be consequential? Because all of these characters are in A New Hope. Like, what are the stakes? But the stakes were emotional stakes. It was about character. Yeah. It was not about plot. And I had a great time.
Riva was incredible.
That's exactly where I was going.
Yes.
The door scene. I think that was in the second last episode. I don't know if that was in the finale, but we watched them back to back, so it's all one. Honestly, would highly recommend, if you haven't watched the show. I don't know why you're listening to this if you haven't watched the whole show, but if you haven't, like, watching those two back to back was such a beautiful experience. I don't know how I could have waited a week. But that door reveal, I was like on the floor. I was like, this is one of the best reveals I've ever witnessed in my life. Like, I didn't piece it together at all. Did y'all piece it together? That she was a youngling?
Which
y'all?
Sorry.
You would piece that together?
Yeah.
Well,
once I started doing the flashbacks, I was like, I see.
This is the thing, is my Twitter feed, I like a single tweet, and then the topic of that tweet is my entire Twitter feed. And so I liked one tweet about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I got every tweet ever written about Obi-Wan Kenobi on my Twitter feed. And like, one person was like, wouldn't it be cool if they showed us Order 66 because Riva was a youngling, and like that was why she turned to the dark side, and she was using the Sith to hunt down Darth Vader and whatever. And I was like, well, that's probably what they're gonna do. And then it was what they were gonna do. So like I was like, yeah, obviously that was what was gonna happen. So it was not as impactful for me. What was impactful for me was when she did not unalive herself. Because she picked up that lightsaber, and I was like, it's about to go full stomach. And it did not. And I was so happy, because we need to stop.
It was about to be my rant of the week. I had the notes ready. I was like, oh.
We need to stop. We need to stop. We need to stop unaliving women who make mistakes. Why do they?
Everything they did with her, I was so hesitant every time she was on screen until we got to see that full arc, and I was just like, yes, they committed, they stuck to it. Oh, it was beautiful. And the whole time, like from the beginning of the show, I was like, I am rooting for her. Like, I get she's the bad guy, but I am rooting for her, and that paid off so beautifully. And that the other thing, like the show is so incredibly interesting in when it happens in the Star Wars universe and when it happens in our universe, right? Like that middle period between, like, we have the originals that were made for, the kids at that time. Then we have the prequels who were made for like my generation of kids, right? And now people my age are in, like, we're in our 20s and we want these mature stories, but with these following these stories that were so dear to our childhood. So to get a more mature version, to get a couple, like, 20 years later version of the stories that we grew up with was just so brilliant and so incredibly done. And this is going to be my Hayden Christensen rant. I would love to interview that man someday because I have so many questions for him. But just every time he was on screen, I'm not going to talk about the de-aging that was not great. Like, we're not going there. But when he was in the Darth Vader suit, you could tell, because the way he moved, his physicality was so on point with Anakin. Like, you could see he really, like, he knows how he would move so deeply in his soul, and it showed even in a big the fucking cut. Oh my, God.
But your point in that moment, it was like, how cool was it to see Darth Vader being like acted in a way that we have never seen before? Like, that was so groundbreaking to me, like to see the physicality that we never get and have it be that haunting and that like huge.
Yes. It was the first time I saw Darth Vader as a character. Like, as a person. Because, you know, growing up, I grew up on, not because I'm old, but because my family just never watched the prequels. I grew up on the original trilogy, and like Darth Vader was just the villain. He was just the bad guy. He wasn't a person with depth or motivation. He was just evil. And that was the first time where I was like, that's a person who like made mistakes and had pain. And like, I had seen the prequels at this point, but like it was like the bridge to like, which makes his like redemption so much more. Listen, like, I understand that this show was 100% fan service, but we are the fans being serviced.
We're the fans that were serviced. Yeah.
And we say thank you for that. We say thank you so much.
We say thank
you very much. Speaking of fan service, I'm going to pivot us quickly just for time. We still have not talked about the biggest fan service moment of the finale.
Hello there.
Hello there.
I knew it was coming. Like, I felt it in my soul. But still, when we got that line, I lost it.
The way that we jumped off the couch, the way we were on our feet, the way we had to pause.
Absolutely.
I was so mad I was not recording my reaction to this episode because I was losing it.
Yep. Well, I'm so glad that we can now speak openly about being Star Wars fans in a very safe way, and that we have finally, I feel like that's a wall that we've broken for ourselves on this show, is like a safe way to talk about Star Wars without half of the internet coming in and being like, about it, you know how they do that? So nice to share this finale with you guys. I'm glad that we did not unpack it week by week, because we would have had so much to say, and instead we just enjoyed it for what it was. And there's some beautiful things in that. And with that, there are things that we aren't going to hold back about, and that we are going to be a bit blunt about, that are not Star Wars related. That wasn't a great transition, but it's all I got. My head still hurts. We are going to do our rants of the week and keep this show rolling, because we have so much to talk about with Ms. Marvel this week that we haven't even started getting to yet. If you don't know this segment, you probably do if you watch the show every week. But if you don't know, we're about to share a hot topic that is top of mind for us. And we're going to share it in 2 minutes, but we're going to be constantly interrupting each other. I'm going to be ranting about what I think is the next best camp movie to come to Disney Plus, which I am thrilled about. Marissa, what are you talking about?
Ice cream.
Slide.
Mine is inspired by Miss Marvel episode 3. So if you want to know absolutely zero things, you know, whatever. But it will not be talking about like plot or like specifics or like anything important. Just like one offhanded comment sparked an entire spiral in my brain. So
there's nothing I love more than when like anyone on this show, but specifically when Sly or Alexis or Marissa, I feel like they do this really well. Like, I never do this, but find such a tiny, minute point I would never even consider, and then blow it up into a big thing, and then it's all I ever think about. And I feel like that's what your rant's about to be. So sit back, grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's get these rants rolling. We're going for 6 minutes?
Yes.
Finally, I know how it works when there's only 3 of us here. Okay. I'm so proud of me. Oh, what happened? Hold on. Let me bring that. Is that centered now? Are we good?
Yeah,
it is.
There we go.
All right. Okay, so big announcement this week coming to Disney Plus. A new movie in a trilogy. Well, it's going to be a trilogy now with this movie coming out, that I'm excited about. And honestly, I'm really upset that more of the Disney community is not hyper-focused on this like I am, because I watched the first one. I've never seen the second one. And I'm still convinced that this kid rival, High School Musical, Cheetah Girls, is one of the most iconic Disney pieces of all time. Of course, I'm talking about the iconic Zombies 3.
Okay, there's a lot of bad things in the world, and I'm not having a lot of fun, but it's summer, and summer is supposed to be fun. So I want to talk about something in summer that is fun. I want to talk about ice cream. This is just a pro ice cream rant. Ice cream is great. Something to know about me is when I go to a new ice cream place, I will always order vanilla. I'm a vanilla person. I'm a vanilla girly. I like chocolate. I would prefer vanilla. And it's consistent. I always get what I want with vanilla.
So we're watching Miss Marvel episode 3, and Bruno makes an offhanded comment about like, oh, I like read something about this in Dr. Selvig's papers. And I was like, I want to read Dr. Selvig's papers. And then I was like, and I want to read like Jane's publications and Darcy's publications. And then I was like, where the fuck is the Marvel ProQuest, right? Like, where's this database that has all the scientific journals in the Marvel universe?
Zombies 3 is a senior year movie, first and foremost. And did we love High School Musical senior year? Yes, senior year movies are the cusp of teenage angst and drama. And what do we do next? And we don't know our identities anymore in this new world. Plus, you get zombies, humans, werewolves, and the twist on this movie, aliens. And if you don't know this about me, I love alien-based movies that are like this, that are camp. I think they're so fun. I love the idea of alien extraterrestrials in high school. So
I start with vanilla. Then depending on the place I am, if it's in the Midwest, I will try out a Mackinac Island fudge. That's a staple from my childhood. But it depends, because sometimes it's not what you really want. Then, if it's a brick and mortar ice cream shop, I would move to like a cookies and cream situation. I'm a fan of that. If that's not doing it for me, maybe I'd go to chocolate. Chocolate tends to be chalky to me, I think.
So my question is, Marvel, why have you not made a like faux scientific journal with all of the articles that have been referenced in various Marvel projects? Because I would read every single one of them. I would have so much fun with this scientific journal, right? And like go out and find people who are experts in this field who could do the hypotheticals to make it make sense in your universe.
If you're not already sold, let me add the fun addition of a cheer off. Yes, the drama of this movie is centering a cheer off where the aliens are coming to compete in the cheer competition. It just gets better and better the more you learn about it. So if you want to see aliens, humans, werewolves, and zombies do a cheer off, this is the movie for you. And it's a musical. It's a musical with like 8 new original numbers in it. It's giving Bring It On Aliens edition.
Okay, then I would go to like a mocha chip, or maybe even just a solid coffee flavor. That's something I'm interested in. What I really want, though, what I actually really want is peanut butter. I want peanut butter ice cream. Apologies to the nut allergies out there. I want peanut butter. And if I can't have peanut butter, I want vanilla. Specifically, I want peanut butter in a cake cone. I don't want a sugar cone. I don't want a waffle cone. I don't want a dipped cone. I want a cake cone.
You have so much money, right? You can like approach these scientists and be like, hey, we'll give you a grant for your like real serious like Earth problem, right, that you're working on, but also have fun and write this fictional like scientific article as if you were this character in the Marvel universe. That would be so great. Scientists are a bunch of fucking nerds. They would jump on that shit. And to make that into an actual scientific journal. Do you want to
know who they cast as the mothership to bring the aliens to Earth? RuPaul. I am not making this up. So I think this is going to be an Oscar-worthy movie. Also, the trailer gives a little bit of like Halloween Town vibes in terms of the set and costume. This movie is supposed to be my entire personality. It also has Matt from High School Musical and Musical the series. If you want to talk about it with me, literally DM me anytime. I think I might do a watch party when it premieres. I'm thrilled.
Okay, that's not even to mention the ice cream bars, the ice cream sandwiches, an M&M ice cream sandwich. Oh my God, M&M cookie ice cream sandwich, a Mickey ice cream bar. like just a regular ice cream sandwich, a Dove bar. I don't want like a SpongeBob situation. No. Vanilla, chocolate. Thank you.
The end of my rant is just a call to action. Like, we need all of you to be like, hey, Marvel, let's make this happen, right? There's a bunch of smart people here. There's a bunch of smart Marvel fans, right? We can make this into an actual thing. I want all the astrophysicist papers about like the Marvel multiverse, etc., time travel, all that fun stuff, and I will read every single one of them. Please give them to me.
You're muted.
You're muted.
I absolutely second that.
100%.
1,000%. In fact, I would do a live show in which I would not end the live until I've read it in its entirety and analyzed it. Like, I would do a live reading of the entire thing.
I didn't have to. I didn't get to have a conclusion to my rant, but I just wanted to say, treat yourself. Get some ice cream. It's summer. Enjoy it. Can
I have a quick counter rant to Marissa's rant?
If it's anti-cake cone, I don't want to hear it.
Okay, no, it's anti-Marissa saying apologies to people who have tree nuts in her rant, but not apologies to people who can't eat ice cream.
Yeah, what about the lactose intolerant viewers, Marissa?
Here.
There's dairy-free ice cream. I didn't know I had to hold your hand.
Most of them are not good. Ben & Jerry's is like the exception. If like any of the like cashew milk ice creams, no. There's a lot of them, but like so many of the like ice cream alternatives, like the vegan ice cream, the dairy-free ice cream, they're not good and they're not fun. Like legitimately the only tolerable like tasty ice cream is Ben & Jerry's.
It's true, but it's true because they are watery. They're like icy and watery. They're not creamy.
Yeah.
All ice, no cream.
It is unfortunate.
I don't know why I thought that comment was so funny when I read it. I just had to pull it up right away.
I do want to say this is inside baseball. In the show doc, we do put our rants in ahead of time. And my rant title was "Everything is bad, but ice cream will never hurt me." And Sly's response was, "Ice cream will always hurt me."
It was "Ice cream hurts me," parentheses, violently. But I love this for you.
A really important update that's just come in. JJ is ready to annotate mushroom-based papers from the MCU.
He's available for peer review.
I love it. JJ, I would like a series now of you showing us places in the MCU world, in the MCU multiverse, where you think mushrooms would thrive. I'd very much like to see it. Do you think they would grow on Asgard?
New TikTok series, please.
I'd like to see
enjoy
it.
all of them.
Yeah. Please, top 5 places where mushrooms would thrive in the MCU like universes. I would eat that up. Number 1 subscriber. So July 15th is the premiere for Zombies 3. Do we do a watch party? I'm so serious. Marissa, come on.
We need to watch at least I need to watch Zombies 1 and 2 first.
Well, yeah, that would require a lot of homework.
I'm not sure we do. I'm not sure we do. I think
that is a strong argument.
We could do like a weekly. So like we could do the weeks leading up to it. We could do week 1.
Listen,
the first
we gotta
Zombies.
start.
There is so much content happening in this time frame.
We have 3 weeks until Zombies 3. We have 3 weeks.
Oh, so we have to start
next week.
There's so much content in that time frame. We have Miss Marvel, Only Murders in the Building, Thor: Love and Thunder, and then immediately after She-Hulk. We don't have time for that.
We have so much time. Miss Marvel is less than an hour. Only Murders in the Building is less than an hour. Thor is 1 sitting unless you see it a million times. This is just 1 more movie to add to the mix. I personally will say I will take 1 hour per week away from my dedicated fan fiction time and put it into watching zombies with y'all.
Okay.
If you want to do that, I will support you. I might not show up.
That's fair.
I will take away your title as like the Disney Channel original movie expert on this show. You cannot claim.
I have been very vocal about the fact that my expertise ends at a certain date.
So perhaps I'm picking up the crown for modern Disney Channel.
You
original
can have
channel.
It. You know what? You can have it.
Alexis is making a great point with Dune. However, the Dune thing is currently still in my playing field because I have the to-do list that I have not fulfilled.
Yeah, literally. Anytime you want to watch Lone Star, I am available. My schedule is so open for you, Liz. Anytime. Pick the time and
clear
day,
the
and
calendar.
I will clear all of my calendars just for you.
I appreciate that so much. Hi, Alexis. It's so fun to have you tuned in. We don't know who we are without you, I think is the vibe of the show. We miss you dearly. Important question, and then we're going to start talking about Ms. Marvel. Have we seen the live action Monster High? Yes.
Oh my god. I did not know that existed. But, hold on. Hold, please. I have the first Monster High book.
Look at you. That looks beautiful, actually. What the heck?
Yeah.
Why is it so pretty?
Wow.
I don't have the cover anymore. I don't know where the cover went.
I love it.
Yeah. I don't remember when this came out, but I know I read the like Click books, and then I saw the same author had did Monster High, so
love it.
I bought it, and it's on my childhood bedroom bookshelf. So fun fact about Sly.
Sly is ready to watch the live action Monster High is what I'm hearing.
I didn't know it existed. I know they did an animated show that I also haven't seen, but whatever. The book was good.
I could talk about this all night. However, we have promised you Ms. Marvel commentary, and Ms. Marvel commentary you shall get. So, as per usual, we are going to talk about Ms. Marvel. If you have not seen episode 3, this is your spoiler warning. If you want to come back, we will be back at some point in time, probably in about 45 minutes, perhaps, maybe a little bit less. So come check back in, perhaps at 30 minutes after the hour. We'll let you know if we're still talking about Ms. Marvel episode 3. We have so much to talk about with this episode and our thoughts around it. And then we are making our predictions for Only Murders in the Building season 2, which we're so excited about. Anything else you want to say before we get started about Ms. Marvel?
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. First up, we have our Rowdy wrap up. Is that what we're calling it? The Rowdy recap. That's what it is. Where we're going to attempt to recap episode 3 very quickly. Why don't we do we have not prepped this at all. I'm going to throw something brand new at the bestie since Alexis isn't here. How about, because Alexis isn't here, and I really don't think we can do this in very short segments because we really struggled last week. What if we each take 30 seconds, do what we can, and then have a 30-second free-for-all where we all scream whatever we'd like at the end?
Okay. Why not?
Sure.
Let's do it. See how it goes. Okay. I will get things started. I just watched Ms. Marvel like a few hours ago, so I feel like it's semi-fresh in my head, and yet I have no memory of how the episode actually started. So does anyone else remember how the episode starts?
Flashback.
All of my notes are quotes, so I have no idea what the actual plot of this episode was.
Marissa, you're starting. Ready? Go.
Okay, so the episode opens on a flashback to British-occupied India, pre-partition, and there's a group of people, and I don't remember all of their names, but Aisha is there, and they find the bangle, and then they split up, and then I think we're back in present day, probably. It's relevant that they need the bangle because they have to get back to some other place, but that's explained later. And then they're back in present day, and they are planning the Mendy for
But before that, she's like our lead here, Kamala, is with like the people that were in the car and Comrade, and they're like, "Oh, you're good," and it's like, "Oh, we're good." But if you know anything about Marvel, you're like, "That's not good." Anytime anyone says they're good, they're not good. So then we're like, "Oh, okay," but she's like, "You're gonna protect me." They're like, "We're gonna protect you. Like we're all family," or like something like that, which is also kind of weird. And then they do confirm that the kid is in fact a kid and not 104 years old, which was very important to me because I did not want a Twilight moment. And then we go back to high school.
All right. So then we have the Mendy party. They're getting ready. They have the wedding. Big wedding. Beautiful. Incredible. The wedding gets crashed by the fucking group of people, whatever. And they're trying to get to Miss Marvel because she was hesitant to help out because it was like frisky or whatever. And then Nakia gets to find out about Nightlight or whatever. Bruno rocks it in the dancing. What else happens? I have
Bruno
no idea.
makes a mask.
Oh, when the fire alarm gets pulled and Amr goes straight for the money because he's an icon. What else
at the mosque. The government goes to the mosque.
Nakia's on the mosque board. Hello. Election winner. Election winner.
We love a woman being elected. But they don't have a warrant to go search it. Know your rights.
What else happens?
That's it. We're out of time.
Okay, great. Nailed it.
I feel like
as you can see, we have a very strong memory of this episode.
Absolutely.
I feel like we hit way more points than we did last week, though. I feel semi-good about that.
We did do a little bit. I think we did better.
There's this really funny moment where she's watching a video on Facebook of her at Eid and the kid falling onto the car, and Marissa did a very funny edit of that, which is on our Instagram story and our Twitter.
It's not on Facebook. Bruno shows it to her on TikTok, and then she watches it again on TikTok on desktop.
I thought it was like a Facebook video. That's so funny.
No,
TikTok on desktop.
That's why I posted a literal screenshot of our TikTok on desktop.
I get
Go
it.
check it out on Twitter and Instagram stories.
You are so
talented.
At
After Party Show.
So talented. Sly, this was quite the episode, wouldn't you say? It was. And we have a lot of things to toast to. We have a lot of WTF moments of the week to get to. I was going to transition to something that I remembered something completely separate I wanted to say, so I don't remember it all. Why don't we just do our toast? Sly, would you like to kick us off?
All right. This week I am toasting to white guys who show up to the dance practices so they can kill it at the weddings.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And if y'all have a drink and you want to cheers with us, we are cheersing with you as well. Marissa, what are we cheersing to?
Oh, I'm cheersing to Nakia and Sheikh Abdullah putting Agent Deaver in her goddamn place. Get your fucking shoes off the prayer rug. Oh my God. Sorry. I literally screamed at my TV. Sorry.
And they didn't have a warrant. Like, all of it. The whole situation. Horrible. We'll toast to that.
Toast to them, putting her in her place.
And I am going to make a toast to the incredible Miss Marvel would just bash her fist through the universe and like punch a hole through time and space and just do it. Because every time Miss Marvel gets praised, I gain 5 years of my life that the fanboys have tried to take from me with all their shit talking of Captain Marvel. So cheers to the Captain Marvel stands. We are winning.
We really be out here thriving.
The moment where Carol Danvers and Kamala meet is going to be one of the best moments in cinematic history. And I'm really not exaggerating when I say that. It's going to be too much for my little heart.
It's going to be a great moment. And then the results of that great moment are going to be really bad.
No, the results of that moment are going to be us yelling about why it was a great moment. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. We'll just drown out the naysayers.
I'm going to get some pots and pans.
Yeah.
I'm going to duet videos and just bang, 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 bang.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
Get the blender on.
I will.
Make some smoothies.
Yeah, I will. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Yeah. I'm going to do like an iced coffee. Like when I make my iced coffee and I stir it for too long to hear the ice clang together. That'll be me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We also had some WTF moments of the week that we should flag. Oh, I have one more toast to make. Sorry, one more toast to make. I'm going to find the @ of this person. I cannot find them right now. They were cast as an extra in Miss Marvel, and they wore the scarf from All Too Well that has the Taylor Swift tag on it, which therefore canonizes Taylor Swift in the MCU. And there is a TikTok about it, and it is incredible. So cheers to you. I wish I remembered what your @ was right now. Yes. But Taylor Swift is officially canon in the MCU because of this extra.
Yes.
I'm going to see if I can try to find it while we are talking.
Yes. I appreciate that. We are now moving into the WTF moments of the week as Sly is finding that. And there is a lot to be said about some big questions this episode has brought on. Sly, I would...
I want to go last.
You want to go last? Okay. Marissa, would you like to start?
Okay. My WTF moment of the week is that Kamran is good? I think maybe. I'm really not sure. He's certainly the best of them. I mean, last week I was here like, oh my God, I can't believe he's not good. And then they just like turned it around on me and they were like, oh, you thought? Well, you thought wrong. So, you know, I'm glad I gave that disclaimer of like, maybe we're wrong and it's not the same, because I really don't know. I went back and forth like 3 times over this episode. Like, wait, what? No. Huh? Is he? No. Well, I still don't know. So that's it for me is, huh? Kamran, huh?
And that's going to make the highlight reel for this episode. That's it for me. Huh? Shout out to Sly, who found the @ for the person that canonized Taylor Swift in the MCU. I feel like you now go in the Hall of Fame of the show. That was something that needed to happen, and you made it happen. Thank you so much. Moving on. My WTF moment of the week. I have to look it up. Oh, so with only murders in the building, I have already like committed in my mind that I actually want to draw out a suspect board this time, because trying to keep everything together watching season 1, I found quite hard on the head because I had all these theories. We weren't doing it on the show. I was only talking about it with like one other person, which is my partner who lives with me. He had to hear all of it all the time. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm going to suspect board out everything that happens in season 2. But I feel like I should have also started doing this months ago for Marvel, because we have a physical list in one of the run of shows of every time they've mentioned other universes, other dimensions, other worlds, other galaxies, and the verbiage that they use to describe all of these other places in space and time. And on top of the language they use to describe the people and where the people are from, and that's a conversation to have. I also just feel like, okay, we're adding another, like we're just Feige really said, how many different ways can we reference different worlds, galaxies, multiverses, timelines? And I'm a little tired. I just want a map at this point. I feel like I'm gonna have to make it for myself, or at least a running list of all the verbiage used, because my brain is a little concussed and tired, and Kevin's throwing too much at me. And I started watching all this because Bucky Barnes was the Winter Soldier, and that made sense. And now we're talking about like 12 million different ways that life exists in space and time. And I didn't sign up for that. I signed up for Winter Soldier, go boom boom, and become a good person again. Okay? That's my moment of the week.
Fair enough.
I'd really like someone to explain it to me, and I would really like it to be Anthony Mackie, I think.
Oh, that would be great.
He doesn't know what's going on.
That's why I want, if he can explain it and understand it, then I can. Okay, if Tom Hiddleston tries.
He rolls out a physical chalkboard.
Please. Maybe a whiteboard even, so we can get some different colored markers. I mean, you can do that with chalk, but I like a whiteboard. But like, if Tom Hiddleston tries to explain it to me, I'm going to be lost in 2 minutes flat. Okay, I don't.
Mhm.
People are like, I would pay so much money to sit in Tom Hiddleston's lecture. I would pay to not be there. I do not want to listen to that man try
I
to
would
explain
love
things
to
me.
have been in that lecture. That would have been.
Yeah?
I would have been taking notes. I would be like, "Let's do this."
I will pay
But
to send
I
you
respect
to the
that.
lecture.
That's exactly. I'll go to the lecture. I'll recap it for y'all.
It's too much.
Very
pay to send
intellectual.
You and Alexis, you go, you take your detailed notes. I'm going to sit head empty. I want Anthony Mackie to yell at me like the gym teacher in Mean Girls
Mhm.
and be like, listen, there's 15 of them. That's it. I'll be like, thank you. Thank you. So maybe I will be that person for all of us. I will do the hard work. I'll get Alexis to peer review it since she's almost a PhD. Soon to be at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
That's how I'm feeling.
It is confusing because it's there's alternate dimensions, but then is that separate from the multiverse? But then also there's the 9 realms, but then you're right. It's too much.
There's a lot.
I have
too much.
had too many concussions in my life, including what happened this week. And I'm about to add Kevin Feige to the list. I'm going to add this mess to the instances in my life that caused my brain trauma. Because I don't have enough cells left to keep up with this. And I'm big enough to admit that. Sly, save us
man.
for the love of God. What was your moment of the week?
My WTF moment of the week was how they phrased the whole conversation around who are these people, right? Because are they actually Jinn, or are they co-opting the name? Because that was what made sense to the people in this world. Because those are two very different situations. And that being unclear is a problem. Because them being actual Jinn and like being the thing that inspired like those that idea is something. Or them being like, this is an already established thing, it's the closest equivalent here, and we're gonna kind of co-opt that name to kind of explain how we exist. Okay, fine, I get that. All right, this problem, this questionable. So like the fact that it wasn't clear which situation we're in is my WTF, because like, where are you going with this? I have questions. Lots of other smarter people have made videos about this. Liz, yes, thank you. So go check out their thoughts and perspectives on the topic. But I was just very frustrated by the idea that that it wasn't clear what the situation was in relation to these characters, especially with the use of such a powerful word to describe them. So yeah, that was my moment this week.
Yeah,
this is one of those situations that we've seen a few times in different Marvel projects, but I would maybe go so far as to say this is one of the most clear examples of times when the episode structure has led to conversation that might not be able to fully encapsulate the context, because they only started dripping context in episode 3, and we might get more context in the future episodes that will relate like a bigger picture of why and how they're using it. But it's interesting because like in the Marvel movies, anytime they would try and bring in like pieces of culture or whatnot, like you had all of the context at once, so the drip would always like fulfill itself by the end.
Yeah,
certainly jarring to see it happen in this format where it's like, okay, we're gonna wait a week to see what they're actually doing with this. Okay,
Yeah. And I mean, it's important to say that we, as white, non-Muslim people, cannot speak to the implications of this situation. So that's why we have recommended these lovely creators who are already speaking on the topic.
And are doing a lot of emotional labor to share their context and knowledge and their own culture with everyone else. They're great. So follow them, watch their content, and maybe that's where we will pause on that for this week.
That kind of leads into one of the conversation themes I put in here. If we want to use that as a quick transition.
Yes, there's so much more to talk about.
But it's this idea of like unreliable narrators and how they're used in like the middle grade YA spaces. Because this show is, you know, really targeted towards like young adult age group, if we're talking in like book context, right? And this, you know, this moment where I was like, what's going on is because the narrators here are unreliable narrators. I think we can all recognize and establish and understand that. But I was just like, it's not always successful, especially when you're targeting a specific age group. And I just want to like have a conversation about like, when are unreliable narrators successful and when are they not so much, and how do we think we see this going with, especially in the context of like, this is targeting like JJ has this like great like hierarchy of like analysis, and he's like what is like ninth grade English analysis is like where the show is sitting at. So like, how much context can we get from unreliable narrators at that like ninth grade English analysis level?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have a thought that I'd like to just like add on top of what you've said. Yeah. Not like to go in a different direction, but like, let's consider that question and add a piece of context of like the community watching this and like listening to this narrative, right? Has segments of the community have proven that regardless of like it's being written for like the ninth grade level, they're also unwilling to find a narrator who is a woman of color, a young woman of color, a young Muslim woman of color, to be a reliable narrator, period. So I feel like you also add this like this other piece of like the way the show is being written, and then the audience also, or segments of the audience also just like unwilling to accept the narrator for who
that's a very different is. Like, I'm talking about the adult, right? The hundreds-year-old being the unreliable narrator. But so many people in this, you know, fandom who are consuming this piece of content would say that the teenage girl who's the lead and the titular character of the show is the unreliable narrator, which I think, you know, that's a problem. Like, right? You have to commit and trust and believe in your hero character, right?
Yeah,
completely.
Yeah, I think it is interesting because you, as an audience member, have like, there's two camps of information. There's the information being told to Kamala, and then the information that we have from Kamala, and like Kamala's interpretation of that information, which, as we have seen, I think, are different. And so that's one thing. And then we also have because it's episodic and we don't have all the information at the same time, what do we trust? What do we assume the target audience is trusting? Can we assume that the target audience is thinking critically about the information they are receiving at all? Because I'm trying to think back to like ninth grade English analysis, and it's like the curtains are this color. Why are they that color? Like, it's not like, do you trust the information you're receiving from this character?
Exactly.
It's like, what is the broader message? So it's a really interesting question to consider.
I love this question personally. I think it's like it's something that like my brain is now trying to go through like every Marvel project and consider. Like I feel like I just opened like 20 tabs in my mind of thinking. What do you think, Sly?
Because this is not the first time we've had an unreliable narrator, but I wouldn't be able to say like this specific moment or that specific moment. I just know that it's happened, and that's so interesting to think about in the greater context. Like what has we as fans, as a fandom, just bought that we've been given that was not supposed to be taken at face value. Now I am million tab openings, and I think we will never have a real answer to this question, but it's interesting to think about.
I feel like I want to add it to like our show. Like I feel like we think about things from so many different lenses when we're thinking about like what we want to say in the show. We talk about feminism, we talk about inclusivity and accessibility. I feel like I want to add that as like a notch of like the things I always think about when we think about Marvel properties, because it's fascinating.
Yeah. What information we're trusting.
And speaking of like trust, I want to just transition quickly to something that we do talk about and we have talked about throughout phase 4 of Marvel, which is this idea of all of these new antagonists being women identifying, women presenting bodies, people. I'm not using the word human because we not necessarily people have been like a human form, but just like woman presenting folk. And how disappointing it felt in another lens of disappointment in realizing the antagonist is a woman, having this like mother daughter or like older woman to younger woman dynamic being centered to Kamala's like pain in this. And it seems like we're going down a route that maybe we're going to balance with like the strength Kamala gets from like her mother and her nanny and like the other women in her life, like the aunties, her friends. Like, so like I don't want to be so leading because I feel like that's a tenet of the show that we will see more of. Go ahead.
Quick sidebar. Shout out to the auntie who was like, you have bad vision. Who knows like what was going on if Kamala actually pulled that fire.
Your license revoked last week. The DMV revoked your license last week. That was the clapback of the year. So good. Yes. You're completely right for that. But still like disappointing like to be like why have we stacked phase 4 with villains that are only women presenting?
Yeah.
Like you could say like, but like Hawkeye brought Kingpin back. Yeah. At the hands of Kate's mother.
Yeah. I like know. The idea that we get more women on screen is always exciting, but the consistent happenings that every single project it feels like in phase 4 basically only has women villains doesn't feel like the empowerment that they're trying to make it, right? Like sure there's 2 women on screen now, but instead of having a meaningful connection, they're antagonistic towards each other, which is still perpetuating that idea that like we can't have strong women be friends with strong women.
I think it also has to be tied to the motivation they're being vilified for. Carly, Wanda, Xialing, this woman whose name I cannot remember. There was somebody else, I think. Sylvie. All of them have been vilified for wanting belonging, home, and family. And going back to their home or finding their family or finding something to belong to or like being scorned by their family. all of these women have been motivated by the same thing, and they're continuing to be vilified for the same thing.
And also, to Alexis's comment, only putting up our women heroes against other women because you don't think they can beat the male villains? Questionable.
Yes.
So we're talking about Najma. Najma is the woman, or Najma is the woman. Yeah, Najma.
Najma, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to add that to make sure that we had it for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also feel like I'm not going to say this point as eloquently as I feel like I will in the future, but if we're set up in a way where we're going to have to see a man superhero defeat a woman villain, like if Anthony Mackie has to take out like a woman, right?
Again.
I feel, yeah. Like it's just like it's so complex. There's so much. We're seeing like just an imbalanced scale of antagonists being woman identifying, and that brings up so many questions for me because like I just don't like understand like the higher purpose of it. Do you know, like if we're like we haven't been presented with one big bad of phase 4. Like we don't have a Thanos. We don't, like, that doesn't exist. And if we do get one big bad, I don't know how it affects all the antagonists we're currently seeing and getting. And if the big bad is a man, then that also brings me to have all these questions of like why are women only being like tiered at one level of
like mid-tier antagonist. Yeah.
Or only important to origin stories. So I feel like that's also rooted in misogyny of like women being the origin story of life.
Yeah.
I don't like I said I feel like that thought doesn't have an end, but it's
no,
like a rabbit hole.
Yeah. It just
Speaking
continues.
Of women only being the origin stories, let's talk about family dynamics.
Yes. Thank you. That was beautiful.
We'll talk about the positive side.
Okay. This was a stunning episode in terms of seeing a family dynamic. Like I felt this way since episode 1. So this is not like a new feeling I've had about the series, but it hit home that like this is a family that like everybody knows. Or everyone like is in your neighborhood, perhaps was even your family at one point if like you were so privileged to have a family that could communicate this way. But it was so beautiful. It felt so like healthy, and it felt so full of love, and it felt so like familiar, and I think that's so beautiful. What a beautiful painting of this family and story to see on TV, like a family that just tries with so much love for each other.
And the whole, having parents who may not be like perfect communicators with their children, right? But putting in the work to try to understand their children's interests and regardless being supportive and being loving and being there and present and available, like regardless of what's going on in their life, to be that like grounding force is something we hardly ever see, especially in coming of age movies, right? Coming of age stories, 99% of the time the family is part of the antagonistic group, right? And it's something you have to fight against or overcome. And so to have a coming of age story, to have a family story that you're not working against or have to rise above is, I said this in our first episode, that this family dynamic is revolutionary for storytelling, and I stand by that 100%.
I also think in the context of a superhero story, and specifically a superhero origin story, having a supportive family and a family that in a lot of ways is a source of power for Kamala is like so rare, because I feel like you so often see, you know, the superhero like motivated by revenge for their family that's been lost, or, you know, had a terrible upbringing and is like trying to like
look at
prove
Moon
their
Knight.
family wrong, and like
look at what we just had from Moon Knight and compare it to this moment. Just sorry, I had to say that.
Legitimately, like with Moon Knight and with Shang-Chi, like we see very abusive parents, right? And to have a project where they are very much not abusive parents is, you know,
the whole like theme of this episode being choose family and like lean into family was just so beautiful. Of like, that is your support, that is where your strength comes from, is from family and the people that surround you. It's just like, I cried several times, let's be real.
And I feel like they also had like very gracefully twisted in some elements of chosen family as well, and showing like the people fly around the world and like, oh, like there's so many people here that are family, but there aren't like literal like blood family. And even seeing like the way Bruno was incorporated into the wedding, like to me it felt like that narrative was not discarding like your family can be who you want your family to be. And that was also a very like eloquent twist that was put on it, that I was like, I see you, Marvel, also making the point that like if you don't necessarily identify with this version of family, we're still going to show you like what that love can look like in different ways.
Yeah.
The sense of the community and the familial support you can get from being part of a group, right?
Yeah.
So I really feel like we have a new like gold star comparison point for families in the MCU, which leads me to a fun mini game that I would love for everyone to play, which is kind of using our usual, you know, the Alpines. Y'all know the Alpines. On the show, we like to rate things out of 1 to 5 whole Alpines. No half Alpines in these games. If this family is a 5 out of 5 Alpine in terms of, you know, dynamics, love, healthy communication, or at least trying to be, let's rate some other families in the MCU in comparison. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 5 Alpines, where 5 Alpines is this family, where would you place Kate Bishop's family?
My gut says 3, right? Because like dad was great until unalive, and like mom is like criminal, but not like evil. But like kind of absent, so like still not strong, so very middling to me. Like it's not egregious, but it's not the happiest living situation.
Yeah, my gut was 4, but that feels very generous. And then I was like, no, 3. But like I'm kind of in between. I really don't know, because
4, but
I feel like Eleanor
without the accessories.
I know Eleanor has this like in between where it's like, is she actually concerned about Kate, or is she concerned about Kate getting in her way? I never really knew. So like, maybe I'll just say 3. A 3 with room for improvement.
Jack was really out there trying his best.
I fully agree. This was my point, that I was like, honestly, I was a 2, and then I heard Sly, and I'm like, okay, I'm a 3, and then I remembered Jack, and I think a 4. Honestly, because we're also getting step-parent representation, and that's great too.
Yeah, that's fair.
And like, I spent the whole time being like, oh, like Jack is this like C-tier villain. He's going to be the red herring, blah 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 blah. But when you actually look at like him in the show, he was just trying his best. He was reading the books. He was, taking the steps to connect. He was really out there doing his best to be a step parent. That's so valid.
Yeah.
I think 3 full alpines, 4 alpines without the accessories. I think that's a really good way of differentiating these alpine rankings. We have found a workaround to the half alpine people. It is alpine with or without accessories. I love it. Okay, next up, our favorite family to rag on, specifically mine, Clint Barton's family. I want to start
this is hard.
I want to start this one. I think Clint Barton's family is 4 alpines because I think Mrs. Mom has done a great job raising those kids without him.
Yeah.
Okay? The prompt was not Clint Barton to his family, which to me is negative 12 alpines.
That's okay. That was my conflict here, right? Are we talking about Clint Barton's family with Clint included, or just Clint Barton, like the Bartons,
right?
Like the mom and the children, right? Because the mom and the children, I would probably give them like 4, maybe 5 without accessories, right? But with Clint, he brings down the average. Yeah,
he's imposed some trauma on those children. We know. We've talked about that at length.
Yeah,
he's really traumatized those kids.
It's really hard because the scale tips so heavy in Laura's favor, but then you add Clint and you're like, oh.
I think, can we agree on a 3 alpine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would still maybe go 4 because I really have faith in Laura.
Okay. A 3 to a 4.
I can buy a 4. Yeah.
Okay. We can buy. Okay. Well, I think we're all in agreement. Looks like the comments are too. Next, we are going to go to Shang-Chi's family.
Again, great mom.
Real polarizing with an incredible mom.
Yeah.
I would say probably a 2 because mom was not around long enough, and dad was,
sharp turn,
centuries old villain.
Yeah,
like literally one of the longest running villains in this multiverse timeline, whatever.
Right. Yeah,
I feel bad.
Yeah,
I feel bad for all of them. I wish that they had the loving energy of Amir's the dad and Miss Marvel being like, it's okay, you only have $700 in your bank account. I feel like Shang-Chi needed to hear that.
It's fun. I love that man.
I personally really needed to hear that. So when he said it, I was like, I'm taking that validation and putting it in my pocket for later. Thank you so much.
Also only have $700 in my bank account. Thank you so much for reading me to Phil.
That was a little hyper specific. $782.49. I was like,
it's like very close.
Sir, we would love sponsors on this show. Moving on. We've already talked about Moon Knight's family. I feel like let's leave that because we all know Moon Knight's had
one.
Very sad.
I'm sorry. They tried to be like, oh, dad's kind of support. No, like you knew there was abuse happening and did nothing about it.
Yep.
This is a family that I'm ready to dig into. Black Widow.
Who are we defining as family here?
Their dynamic, to me, I feel like this was the point in the movie, right? But the entire family dynamic is completely understood at the kitchen table at mom's ranch with the pigs or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Totally dysfunctional. Total Trauma Island. If anyone remember Total Drama Island, the TV show? I just twisted it. Total Trauma Island.
It was a deep cut right in my soul.
We gotta unpack that later. I loved that show. Oh
See, this is, I don't know what the average would be because Alexi and the girls, 2. Melina and the girls, 3?
Here's
Nat
the
and
thing, though,
Yelena,
like,
4.
how much of her interactions were because she was A, autistic coded, and B, brainwashed 4 times? And so that's my hesitation. Like, how much of her are we actually seeing in these interactions?
Yeah.
So, like,
I also feel like they weren't given a fair shot.
mm-hmm.
They were operating under fear
Sure.
the entire time, knowing it was a sham. Makes it a little unrateable for me.
I think I would say from Yelena's perspective, it was probably a 4. And from Nat's perspective, it was probably a 2.
Yep.
That seems accurate.
Yeah.
I would give 5 out of 5 Alpines.
3.
5 out of 5 Alpines for the car soundtrack. Okay, they were raised on good music, and I give them that. They did their best with the mixtapes they had, and
5 out of 5 for American Pie.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, and last and certainly not least, the royal family of Asgard.
Ooh,
again,
Odin?
Great mom, horrible dad.
Well, can we really say that she was a great mom? What happened to Hela? Let's be real.
Okay, fair. Yeah, similar situation as before. Knows all the shit is going on and did not act. So brings it down quite a bit.
I would say the writing did not serve her well, and that it was all written in a time that did not empower her, much like every other woman in Thor, until the Civil Infinity War series, where Thor was able to go back and they gave her a little bit more characterization, which also makes it tough.
Freya tried.
But I would give Loki and Thor a freaking 1 out of 5 Alpines, because those two need to learn how to communicate. Okay.
Post Ragnarok, they get a 2.
That's generous, in my opinion.
They hugged.
They had
feels like
one moment of communication, and that was it.
Loki sacrificed himself. Don't make his actions in vain.
I would say 2 overall. In general. All encompassing, I would say a 2.
I would say 2, but then you have to consider Hela.
You know what makes me so sad about Thor? The Thor franchise. It's a total tangent for a second. Thor 1 sets up such an opportunity for chosen family, and then it is not followed through on at all. And to me, that's one of the biggest misses of the MCU, is that ragtag group that they introduced in the first Thor not becoming a Guardians of the Galaxy style, close-knit chosen family.
R.I.P. Warriors 3. R.I.P.
True.
Thor 1, if you look at that movie as if it were a play, excellent movie. And I stand by that. It's up there in my rankings, and that's because I watched it and I loved it. And then I thought about it more and I was like, did I actually love this? And then Mario said, it's just a play. There's 2 locations and it's just a play. And I went, you know what? That makes me love it even more.
Yeah, it's a tragedy.
I'm looking at the time and looking at how much show we have left to do. So I think we have really one more big Miss Marvel segment that is worth hitting, and we can save some of our conversation about Bruno and Nakia for next week. Let's talk about superhero bureaucracy. Slime. Passing it over to you.
There's a lot going on in the multiverse in terms of government agencies. What's going on? Okay? Is this are they considering this a post-Shield world? That's our first question to ponder. Where is Shield in all of this? It's crumbled, but how does that impact everything? What is Damage Control's role now? in that, if we're saying it's a post-Shield world, what is, damage control is kind of stepping up. Instead of just being the people who clean everything up, they're actually taking active steps in surveillance, which is questionable. What's Sword doing? Like, they're out there. How do they factor into this? Just like, what's going on in the government is my question.
We also have not heard from the United Nations in a very long time.
Or
I don't think we've heard from
GRC or whatever it was.
We got the Global Repatriation Council.
What happened to them?
Post-blip. We also have the World Security Council, which was Hologram Circle and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Lots of global organizations.
In Black Panther, where are they speaking? Are they at the UN? And in Civil War?
That's the UN.
Yeah, that's just the UN. Yeah.
The the Sokovia Accords were the UN.
So I want a map of magic and just sources of life. And I would also like a map of governments on every scale and level in international bodies.
Government agencies operating within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I also want to know, what's going on with, the U.S., Air Force, right? We saw them interacting in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What's going on with the military? I need a full breakdown of all the government agencies at play in the current Marvel Cinematic Universe.
What is the Food Inspection Agency doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Where's the
Border
FDA?
Patrol?
Yeah.
I'd like to see it.
I think
where's the FDA on time travel?
I want to see the policy.
Or the CDC. I don't care who.
Both.
Somebody needs to be talking about time travel.
Yeah.
I had a comment. Now it's lost from my mind. Marissa, do you have something you'd like to add?
I don't know. I have so many questions, and every project introduces a new government agency, and none of them are talking to each other. And I understand that theoretically these projects should be standalones, but they're not, because they have established a very deeply interconnected universe. And so if you're going to introduce a new government agency in every project, I need to understand how they're talking to each other. Because even the FBI and Sword crossover in WandaVision was too much for me. And then they also
was a disaster.
The military in there. It was wow,
Yep. I remembered my point that I'd like to throw into the mix here, which is that all of this feels so silly when you remember the TVA exists.
Oh. That's another dimensional thing where I'm
ignoring
the timeline outside of them. Yeah, I can't.
I really like the headcanon that I am now putting into the world. I think that's the right word. I'm sorry, my head's starting to go because my head hurts. I really want there to be a person at the TVA who is responsible for watching government departments. That's their whole thing, is making sure the government departments are rolling policy or whatnot, who just watches the miscommunication and has a little lever of great communication to poor communication and just constantly tweaks it depending how chaotic they're feeling. Oh, boring day. How about all of the phones stop working? How about all of the emails get leaked? How about Black Widow goes and leaks everything from this file? I think that would be, I'd love to see that person's job. Yeah. Where does the Parks and Rec department stand on multiversal travel? What about landing? I feel like people are always landing in parks. The parks get picked as the spot to go. Spider-Man was in some parks. We had parks in Falcon and the Winter Soldier where people were gathering and meeting up. Where do they stand on superhero activities in parks?
Yeah. There's too many.
If anyone could fix this, it's Leslie Knope, and I stand by that. Get Ron Swanson in there talking to those superheroes, making it all make sense. Alexis adding a beautiful comment. I feel like it's bold to assume that any government agency in any universe is good at communication.
So true.
Where's the workplace documentary style sitcom of gov agencies dealing with superheroes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is what we're asking for. Where's the What If episode?
Where's the Office Shield edition?
True. Let's film it. We'll do it next week live. You're welcome. Okay. Let's end our Miss Marvel segment there and move into, I'm going to do an outfit change. Y'all segue while I outfit change.
All right. While Liz is doing that, yeah, Miss Marvel, pretty good. We're having fun with it. You know what's also pretty good? Only Murders in the Building. And season 2 starts next week. And we are very excited to talk about it on this show. So before we start, season 2, we got to put our predictions out there. And get these ideas out into the world. And Liz is rocking her lovely Only Murders in the Building podcast sweatshirt. We love to see it.
If you're not caught up on Only Murders in the Building, it's available to stream on Hulu in the US, Disney Plus internationally. And the new season starts on Tuesday, and we will be discussing the first block of episodes on Saturday. So, you've got a week to do some homework. And before that, we're going to give our predictions for Tuesday.
We're going to give our predictions. Let's be honest.
I don't think we have any predictions that are like big spoilers for season 1. I think we're okay.
And you know what?
I don't think so.
I'll be honest. I personally need that, like, here's what happened in season 1 in 2 minutes. More than anybody. I hardly remember the finite details of the finale. So much so I might have to go rewatch it before we launch right back into the mystery.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Completely agree.
With that said, we can still make some predictions based off of the vibes. And we love a good vibe-based prediction on this show. So let's dig into it, shall we?
No thoughts, just vibes.
Where can you watch Only Murders in the Building in the States? Because it's on Disney Plus in Canada.
Hulu.
It's a Hulu original.
On Hulu, besties. Okay.
And I have a bone to pick with Hulu, but
pick it. Do it.
It's fine. No, I just requested a press account for us so that we could use their promotional images for our promotional our promotional releases, so we could share that we're talking about this lovely show that we love so much, and we got denied. It's fine.
Now we have to steal them from other press accounts. And we're still going to use them.
Yep.
I had an idea for how we might want to go through these predictions if y'all are down.
Okay.
So my idea was a snake draft. Anybody know the idea behind that? So basically the idea is like you start with one person, and so it'll go 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3 is kind of the order. So if you start, then you also end, and if you're the last person, you get to start the next iteration. And I think we all have, Marissa and I both have 5 written down. So Liz, if you can think of a 5th one. There we go.
Find a 5th. It'll happen. Ready, besties?
Ready.
I feel like let's whip through a round and just say them without any context and see how far we can get just whipping through them until we need to stop and be like, wait, what the F are you saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you feel confident about this? Okay. So my first, I feel like we need like the draft sound, like do 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 do, like the first round draft pick for the Only Murders in the Building season 2 predictions. The costuming will win an Emmy nomination. They might not win the Emmy, but they will win their nomination. Marissa?
Not enough Theo Demas. Number 1 prediction. I will not be satisfied.
Slide.
My number one prediction. Okay, Marissa kind of took one of mine. Kind of.
Well,
but
didn't
we'll get to
read
that
the
later.
show doc ahead of time, then, apparently.
I put my notes in first, but it's fine. My number one pick is that Cara Delevingne will be the red herring for this season, because I don't think they will repeat the same formula, but they will try to make you think they're repeating, and so that her character will be the red herring for the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then my second round pick is there will be
the second round pick. Okay, go ahead. Alexis isn't here to be the soundboard, so I have to do it. Okay, go ahead.
We love to see it. There will be exponentially more deaths. So we saw a certain amount of deaths in the first season. This season, I think there will be exponentially more.
I agree with that. Is it my turn now? Is that how it works?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. I predict at least 3 Tony winners will be on this season.
Are you going to say which Tony winners?
No, I have no idea.
Okay. Just leave it open.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bad.
My second round.
We got one. We got at least one last season. Ali Stroker.
Look.
You asked a follow-up question.
I did. I did not ask for more than that. I just said, "Do you want to name them?" And you said no. My turn. I think that Cara is going to be weird, and it's because I said no context. I will not provide context. I think Kara's character is going to be weird.
Okay.
My third round. My third round draft pick prediction for Only Murders in the Building season 2. I am going to name names.
Great.
I think we're getting Lynn this season. I really feel it. I feel it in the air. I feel it in the water. I feel it in my bones. We're getting Lynn. I would also actually no. I'll save my next one as that. I found my fifth. Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay. My third prediction is the Podcast Goes Network. You know, it's independent right now. I think they're getting signed. Season 2, bigger and better.
Slide.
All right. My number 3 is that James Caverly will be very underutilized. So, you know, he's gonna be there, but what we get from the writing for him won't be great. That's how I'm tweaking it to differentiate from Marissa's.
It's different.
Like what he's given to work with won't be great. That's third round.
That's a good tweak. That's a very important tweak, and I respect it. Fourth round. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. It's getting better. Go ahead.
My fourth, we're on fourth round. My fourth round pick is that Ali Stroker and crew, like those 3, will make a return. Some posits. Maybe they take over the podcast while the main gang is detained. Maybe they're the ones who come up with the elaborate ruse to take down Tina Fey. I don't know. I just want more Ali Stroker.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay. My fourth prediction is that Selena will turn looks. I think I can state that as fact. That's not a prediction. That's just something that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can drop a second name. This one is more of, I feel Lynn in my bones, and I would like to differentiate this one by saying, I pray for this one from my bones. I would like Aaron Tveit.
Me too. Tveit, yeah.
Tveit. Thank you for the phonetic spelling in the. I will admit there's a phonetic spelling in the group doc because I mispronounce it every day. And I would like to add some point that I think if he's in the show, we're going to see him pull characteristics that we saw him pull out in Schmigadoon. Like the way he was like this, because he has range. But I'm specifically thinking we're gonna see a him that would remind me of what they did with him and Schmigadoon. So that's sub-point prediction. Marissa?
I'm gonna co-opt this.
Yeah. What do you want? What do you want?
Aaron Tveit singing "I'm Alive" as a ham for ham outside stage door. I want that Aaron Tveit.
Yeah.
Well,
that's how you get the Lynn cameo too. Just 2 for 1. You just straight up do Aaron Tveit doing
some point
at ham
4B. 4B. That's the official 4B prediction. Okay.
That's the official 4B prediction for Only Murders in the Building season 2. Ham for ham.
Stunning. Yep. Marissa's turn? No, my turn.
Wait, no.
My turn.
Your final turn.
Round 5. The round 5 draft predictions for Only Murders in the Building season 2. I think Tina Fey is coming back. I think she's going to be the big baddie of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to connect to earlier point. I like the theory about the podcast going network. Perhaps there's a connection between both of those theories.
My final prediction is that someone in the building gets a new pet. We've seen cats. We've seen dogs. I feel like there might have been a gerbil as a part of a conversation at some point. Like, there's a lot of pets in the building. Only pets in the building.
Alexis's dream show, Only Pets in the Building. I love.
All right. And the final prediction in the Only Murders in the Building season 2. I think Martin Short's character will be asked and or will consider producing the Amy Schumer movie that her character is trying to get made about Jan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If he's not asked, he will pitch.
Yeah. That's the and or consider.
Can I add one more prediction? Because that you just I would love, because of like I know like that they're now framed for murder and going to jail. I understand that's the tone we're walking into season 2 with is that thing hanging over their heads. But what I would do for just like a cut scene of Martin Short pitching random ass ideas for like 30 seconds straight, I would do anything of just the most. It doesn't even have to be just specific like to Broadway or plays or stage, just any idea.
Any scene in which he can be an awful overbearing director is my favorite.
Yeah. I'd like it very much.
I'd love to see it.
Something that this show really has an opportunity to do this season, and from the way they're framing some of their social stuff right now, I feel optimistic about, is it seems like they took time to breathe and let the fans take the show for a moment. Like they signed for season 2 fairly quickly, but it does feel like they left a little room to hear and receive and listen, and then take some of that and put it into the writing. And there's nothing that I love more than a season 2 that leans into what the fans loved in different ways. So I'm hoping that we see pieces of that in the writing and in like the first like 2 episodes, that there's a little bit of fan service and a little bit more like, we see more like weird food in Steve Martin's kitchen, and we see like, you know, Selena be sassy and you know, whatever the things are that the fans really called out that they loved. I feel like they've done it. They're gonna do it. It'll be good. Exciting. Any other final predictions?
Oh gosh. I just cannot wait. They're talking all about like the history of the building, and like what Cara Delevingne's character is going to be like doing with that. And I just like, I'm so excited. I think they're going to do something. There's going to be something big that's like a huge like New York City history moment that's like some like mystery or something that they're going to like either co-opt or explain or something. I think we'll see something big there.
Yeah. This is a spoiler alert. Sort of, but I don't think we've seen the last of Jan.
Mm-hmm. I would completely agree with that. Yep.
I don't think she's going to be a big player,
according
but I don't think she's gone.
All the character breakdowns, she's going to be there.
Great.
Beautiful.
I'm very smart.
You are.
Another clip for the highlight reel. Just more that I'm very
Do you want to make the highlight reel list?
No, I just you keep saying things that I'm like out of context. I want that like on the soundboard for this show, which by the way, I'm going to actually order a soundboard soon for producing the show with, which I am very excited about. But we are at time for the week. We're going to leave it there. Some notes for everybody watching, some homework to take away. Would you join us for a Zombies 1, 2, and 3 watch party? Let us know on Instagram and on Twitter. Make sure you watch Only Murders in the Building Season 1 because we'll be talking about it all next week, and keep watching Ms. Marvel so we can keep talking about it. Any other reminders we want to send out before we plug? No.
Just next week, we're going to be diving into Ms. Marvel Episode 4 and Only Murders Season 2 Episode 1. So that is your homework for next week.
You got also eat some ice cream. That's also your homework. Yes. If you are lactose tolerant.
If you can consume,
if you are tolerant to lactose,
if you can have if you can medically have ice cream, you are required
or
to have
your ice cream equivalent even.
Sure. Yes. If you don't like ice cream, treat yourself. Treat yourself. 2K22.
Do it. You deserve it. You deserve it. I'm producer Liz everywhere on the internet. I talk about PR pop culture. It was so fun listening to the new Taylor song with all of you tonight. I'll be making some content reacting to it now that I've had time to process. I have to go think about Broadway actors not having vocal training now for a few hours. I would also recommend not hitting your head if you can avoid it. So be safe out there, folks. And I would say if you want to know how we feel about Only Murders in the Building, this is probably a good week to follow us on Twitter if you're not following us on Twitter, because it's definitely where the first reactions are going to go. And I'm also going to take the opportunity to make sure to say to follow Alexis. Alexis will be back next week. Alexis like reads comics, and we love her and we miss her.
Also, Marissa next week.
Yeah.
Marissa will be having fun in Disney without us. It's fine.
Meeting all of our friends.
Soft launch that, but okay, if you're here now, exclusive. I'm going to Disneyland.
And you're going to meet so many people and have so much fun. And we're also going to have fun without you, but we're also definitely going to be like looking at our phone every 2 seconds for the updates. So have a good time. Marissa, where can people find you?
You can find me at Missabobessa on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And like everybody said, I'm going to be having some very fun things coming up in the future in the next few weeks. So you definitely want to be following along for that. I'm going to some fun places and doing fun things and meeting fun people that you might know. So yeah, looking forward to all of that. And of course, watching along with Only Murders in the Building and Ms. Marvel.
Sly?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at SlycloneMC. I am currently going through I want to delete all my social media phase, so we'll see how long that lasts. But if you want to find me on the internet, of course, TikTok Live with JJ. We took a week off. We're gonna see what we want to talk about moving forward.
Zombies 1. And then
Pip, we're also currently on a quick hiatus, except for MC University still going strong. We just put out Punisher Warzone. It was a great episode. Please go check that out. We had a blast talking about Punisher Warzone, which, everybody knows how much we hated Punisher 2004. So definitely check out this episode to see our thoughts and opinions on such a wild movie. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Love.
Yay.
It feels weird not having Alexis here to round out our ending. A great point being made in the comments. Stranger Things is coming out with the final piece on Friday, July 1st. We have so much jam-packed in our July 2nd episode. I feel like we shall wait a week and give everyone enough time to watch it and digest it before we talk about Stranger Things on the show again. So don't stress about watching it before you come tune into us next week. But the week after, perhaps we'll carve out some time to dig into whatever that finale has in store for us. Oh my God. It's going to be big. Better be ready to pull up a seat.
Stranger Things, like me, I'll be here asking all the questions to clarify what the heck everybody's talking about.
I'll be here like, why do I need a song to save me from Vecna?
Listen, I made playlists, so you have source material ready to share with your IRL besties who need to save you from Vecna. So if you're looking for one, producer Liz on Spotify, go get all your playlists there. Always. But besties, we're out of time. So good night to everybody on TikTok. We'll end the live over here. Thanks for hanging out with us. See you next Saturday. And we'll say goodnight to everyone on YouTube and Twitch. Have a great week. So much to watch. We'll see you all around the internet. Make sure to share the show with your friends. And hello to all of the replayers. We see you. We see you watching throughout the week. Thank you for tuning in. And we will see you back next time. Bye.
Be sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Twitch. Like, comment. Do all the things.
Turn on the bell.
See you soon.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.